you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Vliet.
What's up, Brian Deegan?
Vaughn Gittin Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride. Amy Houde.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Houde, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Hopefully all of you had a great Thanksgiving weekend. Hopefully you didn't get trampled on Black Friday. Here we are on another Monday. I guess it's Cyber Monday, which means today is going to be an absolute productivity killer for you. Not only do you have to deal with the Down and Dirty Radio Show for 2 hours this Monday morning, but my guess is you guys are probably clicking around on some of your favorite shopping websites and dialing in with some goodies. We will definitely be talking about some Cyber Monday specials going on with some of our partners later on in the show. But we have an absolute packed show today. I don't know, once in a while the cards just fall into place and we get an absolute slam-packed lineup of guests. Andy McMillan, Baja 1000 champ, overall champ. He's going to be calling into the show in just a little bit, team with Rob McCachran to take that victory about a week and a half ago. We're going to have all the details from Mr. Andy McMillan. And then we've got Jeff Proctor, the man behind the new Honda off-road program. He's going to be calling in, talking about his Baja 1000 win in this new Honda factory-backed effort that's going to be campaigning in both Best of the Desert and Score next season. And then if that doesn't get good enough, we have Cody Cam, one of the winners from the opening rounds of the Snocross Championship up there in Duluth. Cody Cam, Polaris Snocross racer, he's going to be calling in. We're going to talk with him, dissect the opening rounds of Snocross, and see what the 2015/2016 season has in store for Mr. Cody Cam. He's going to be calling in with Amy Houde and Amy Houde's segment. And, man, we got a lot to talk about in this Amy Houde. Coming out of the two-wheel community today, Mr. Chad Reed making a huge blockbuster announcement. We're going to have that later on in the show as well. And then we can't forget, we've got Dani Medin. She's calling in. We're going to be talking some flat track. We're going to be talking some snowcross and a whole lot more with Miss Dani Medin. But right now, calling into the show, it is your Baja 1000 overall champ, Andy McMillan. How's everything going, Andy?
Jim, how are you? Everything's good over here, brother.
Oh, man, it's got to be good for you, taking an overall victory at the 1,000, then getting to spend a week in Cabo. I don't know if it gets much better, buddy.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with you on that. Winning the 1,000 second year in a row was definitely a lot of fun and quite a big achievement for both Rob and I and our team. And then wrapping it up, Thanksgiving in Cabo, just icing on the cake.
Yeah. So was the Cabo trip planned before or after the Baja 1000 win? Was it one of those, oh, heck, it's like the guys that win the Super Bowl. I got to go to Disneyland. No, was it one of those, I just got to go to Cabo?
I wish it were like that. We were supposed to go last year after the 1,000 ended in La Paz, but with a hurricane hitting last year and the resort shutting down, we had to postpone and stay home. So this year was kind of a makeup for last year.
Yeah, and how was it? I mean, I haven't really talked to anybody that's been to Cabo since that hurricane. I mean, is everything kind of back to normal down there, or there's still a little bit of aftermath?
For the most part, everything seemed like barely nothing even happened. All the roads are really nice. The resorts are back up and running. The people are obviously as friendly as ever, and it's a great time. And I would definitely recommend anyone who has some doubts about going down there to go see for themselves.
Nice. Well, that's good to hear because, I was worried there for a while because, you immediately hear, all the bad stuff and you don't really, hear about, the good stuff. It's good to know things are back up and running and business as usual down there.
Right. Yeah. Been going to Baja my whole life, and it's very close to my heart. And we participated in sending down some donations and some help in the relief effort down there when the hurricane hit. So it's good to support, re-support Baja and keep pumping money and supporting the local businesses down there. And that's really important to us and our family.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the McMillan family, you guys have been, racing down in Baja for, I don't know, pretty close to darn near the beginning. But,
right.
You guys have a ton of Baja 1000 wins to your credit. But, this year, back-to-back with Rob, you guys have you got a heck of a role going on. Seems like anytime you guys team up, I know, it seems like good things happen.
Yeah, I'll definitely take it. I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched, but the last 3 Baja 1000 starting in 2013, we found second, first, and first. So I think to make a pretty formidable team. Rob and I feel like our driving styles really complement each other, and we both take care of the equipment, and we know what it takes to win. Kind of these longer endurance races. And I think that's what our specialty is because, I can be aggressive at times, Rob can be aggressive at times, but that's just not really our style. And so I feel like these longer races, where you really have to take care of your equipment and make it to the finish line in order to win, I feel like that's where Rob and I really excel. And then it comes down to his team and the logistics, of the race. And, Rob and I wouldn't be able to do what we do and win these races if it wasn't for his guys at the shop, prepping the truck very meticulously and really dotting all their I's and crossing all their T's, to make sure that we have a truck that we're confident we can go and win with.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just, looking at this program. McMillan's, the McMillan family, widely known. You go to Baja and you guys have some of the best pit support. You guys' notes are second to none down there, and then you've got a guy like Rob McCachran who, has spent as much time as anybody down in Baja. And you combine, what both of you bring to the table. And I'm sure, as much as he's learning from you, you're learning from him. And, it's got to be almost like the perfect storm.
That's really the way that Rob and I look at it, and he keeps asking me every year, like, he'll probably call me in January or February and say, hey, so are we going to do the 1,000 again? And he's already asked me before this 1,000. He already asked me about 2016 and even 2017 for that anticipated 50th anniversary run. So he already knows that as long as this stays good and we have a good run going, it's like why break it? And you're right, Rob has so much experience down there driving. I've been going down there since I was 3 or 4 years old, pre-running, and I have a pretty photographic memory. So a lot of these roads that I'm driving on and that we're racing on, I've been on for the last 20, 25 years of my life. So I'm only 28, but I sure have a lot of Baja experience, and Rob does as well. And so I think that's just kind of the perfect storm for Rob and I. Is we both know the truck so well, we know the terrain so well, and that we put in a lot of time pre-running our sections and really making sure that come race day, it just comes down to executing the plan as opposed to trying to figure out the plan while you're going. So we really have everything in place come race day, and it just comes down to doing what we do.
Yeah, well, and how was this Baja 1000? I know, the one last year obviously was the point-to-point. You guys, added in Jason Voss to the driving team. But, looking at, last year versus this year, obviously, the distance was a lot longer last year. But it seems like everything I've heard, the course this year was just insanely tough. It seems like, this one, even though it was shorter, was just as tough, if not tougher, than the one last year.
Yeah, the Peninsula run to La Paz or even down to Cabo at times, a lot of the roads that we go on are are pretty well taken care of, like farmer access roads.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go out in the middle of Baja, and for the listeners that don't have much experience with Baja, a lot of these roads that we race on, we'll be out in the middle of nowhere, and these are roads that the local farmers, ranchers, and just everyday people with their livelihood, these are the roads they take to go out to the main towns to get groceries and to fill up on their stock for their homes. So I thought the La Paz 1,000 runs, you're running on a lot of those more well-groomed roads for these people to kind of get in and out of their ranch land on, as opposed to in the loop races, we're running much more. The loop races are a little bit more in populated areas, whereas the Peninsula Run, you can be out in the boonies in the middle of nowhere, with nothing around for a 100-mile radius around you. And in the loop races, you're running in a lot more populated areas where a lot of the farmers and ranchers don't want you running on their roads, through their properties. So SCORE has to take some measures to kind of take us away from those areas.
Yeah.
And a lot of those places they take us away from, the roads definitely aren't as nice and well groomed. So the loop races almost are almost more technical.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit more rough and rocky for that reason. So this year's course, I did basically the San Felipe section back up to the finish. And if anyone has watched any videos of trucks in San Felipe, they know how big those whoops are and how rough that section is. And this year was no exception.
Yeah. It seems like San Felipe. I mean, that whoop section, iconic. I mean, if you really want to do some shock testing, you go down to San Felipe. I don't know. I mean, there's no such thing as a good year for San Felipe. I think it's just always there's bad and worse.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and the more we race down there and race on the same whoops, we just keep tearing it up more and more as these big trophy trucks and all these class cars, go across there. And it's not just the Baja 1000 or the San Felipe 250 that runs down there. There's the Code Series, the Record Series that uses, that road going down into San Felipe for local races that they put on. What was different this year was at a San Felipe race, you hit those whoops at mile 10, mile 20, mile 30. But this year's 1,000, we got off the pavement down there and you hit these whoops at mile 600. And after, a race truck and the shocks and the truck in general and the drivetrain has been through 600 miles of Baja, then you got to go pound through, 3 and 4 foot whoops at 70 or 80 miles an hour for, 50 or 60 miles. It puts a whole different spin on the race, on the strategy. Do I push here and try to catch the guy in front of me? Do I try and save the truck and make it to the finish because maybe this guy will be pushing too hard? There's a lot to juggle, in the middle of the race with your strategy on how you're going to attack.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like you and Rob, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but you guys have found, the happy medium on how to win these. I mean, there's a certain point where you can overdrive the truck, and it seems like a lot of guys, they'll get shot out of a cannon early, and and 3/4 of the way through the race, they start going down with mechanicals, and it seems like you and Rob, it's let the race come to you. We don't have to get out front and lead the entire race. We'll reel them in, and at the end of the race, when you have to push, it seems like you guys have a lot of truck left when some of these other guys may have used theirs already up.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, a good friend of mine, Bryce Menzies and Jesse Jones, their Baja luck hasn't quite hit them yet in the Baja 1000. The last 4 or 5 years, they've been out front leading the race. Sometimes, like this year and in 2013, they've had a 20+ minute lead on the field, and something just goes awry. And that's, Baja is so much more mentally challenging than it is physically challenging, to me at least. When I'm sitting there waiting to get in the truck at mile 470 and, Jesse Jones comes by in Bryce's truck, and when I get in the truck, they call out that, it had been, 18 minutes that he had passed by, and psychologically knowing he has that big of a lead, it's kind of daunting, and you kind of, your mind tells you to give up, but then at the same time you're like, hey, this is Baja. Like, this isn't a graded road all the way to the finish line where he can just cruise pre-run speed and win the race. There's a lot of racing left, and there's a lot that can happen. And sure enough, we passed them in San Felipe, and they were broken down with a mechanical issue, and just trying to keep that in the back of your head, like, hey, you got a long ways to go, something could happen. And even at kilometer 77 with about 100 miles left, my dad got on the radio when I was second physically behind the Lopez truck, and he said, like, hey, you're right behind him. You're putting the pressure on him. It's up to him for him to make a mistake. You're doing all you can do, but don't give up. Make sure you get that truck to the finish line, because don't run it off the road trying to catch him. Don't get a flat tire. Just keep your pace. Just stay on him, because you never know what can happen when you get to the finish line. It ain't over till it's over.
Yeah.
And the last 100 miles, that was going through my mind, like, don't drive it off the road. Stay calm. Stay consistent. Keep a level head. You don't have to pass them. Something crazy could happen. And, it's unfortunate for them, but something kind of crazy did end up happening at the finish.
Yeah. Well, and when you guys crossed the finish line, I mean, you had no idea, right? I mean, you thought you guys came in second, right?
Yeah. I mean, Lopez started 2 minutes behind us. We qualified fourth, and he was sixth. And so in the Baja races, it's all on elapsed time. And so he had to finish within 2 minutes behind us or in front of us in order to win. And unfortunately, I couldn't get around him. And Juan Carlos, Afdali's dad, was driving a great race and doing everything he needed to do to keep me behind him. And so we basically knew when we crossed the line second behind them that, hey, we gave it all we had. We'll settle for second place. Everyone's back here safe, and the truck had no major mechanical problems. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And there's the score still has to review the virtual checkpoint penalties, the speeding penalties, and assess all those. And so we knew that there was still maybe a chance that something could happen, but rarely do the top teams kind of make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah.
And sure enough, 30 or 40 minutes after sitting at the finish line, score came up and said, hey, we need you to pull the truck back on the podium for the cameras and the interview, because, you guys are going to be declared the unofficial winners. And me and Rob kind of looked at each other like, is this a joke? Like, is someone like playing a mean prank on us? Because that's not cool. And then sure enough, they backed our truck up on the podium. I got back in it, pulled it up to the finish line for the camera crews to kind of record us finishing, the whole TV thing. And it was kind of surreal. It's definitely not the way that we want to win. But like everyone's been saying, rules are rules, and everyone's got to play by them. And Dali and his dad were totally understanding, and Clyde Stacy, the owner of the team, reached out to me and he said, no hard feelings. We know you guys didn't protest us. And that's racing. Sometimes those things happen. So, we'll take it. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, talk about, this year, I know you've kind of, found a groove where you're not running the full series, but you're running a few events here and there. And it seems like every time you're in a truck, I mean, you guys are finding success. You happy with that as a driver, from a driver standpoint, running a few, one-off events every year and running at a high level?
Yeah. The races that I really care about to win are the Baja 500 and the Baja 1000. And ever since I was a kid, even racing my own truck, those are the races every year that were the two biggest races, in the state series and the Mexico series. And I just really want to win those two races. And the last couple of years, I haven't been able to race the Baja 500 due to other family events going on and some family weddings here and there. But surely I'd love to get back down and race the Baja 500. It's one of my favorite races next to the Baja 1000. Just all the pre-running and all the people, the time of year down there. It's beautiful, late May, early June. And it is. It's satisfying to be able to race a couple races a year, and I'm raising my daughter at home, and so I like being there for that. And so that's kind of taken some of the place of a lot of the racing that I was doing the last couple of years, maybe 5 years. But I'll take racing a couple and winning the Baja 1000 every year than racing 5 and winning the smaller one and not doing well at 1,000. So it keeps working out the way it is. I'm perfectly fine. Just keep going with what I've been doing.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think anybody'd be happy with what you're doing for.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Talking about, you've been in trophy truck for quite some time. I mean, before we let you go, gotta ask. So, I mean, how have you seen? I mean, the changes. It seems like we go in cycles, but I mean, as far as the technology and I mean, races are so close. I mean, we're talking 10 years ago, and I mean, there was 2 hours separating first from second. Now we're down to minutes and sometimes seconds. I mean, you and Rob are teaming up, and we're starting to see more team drivers down in Baja. Where there for a while, the teams kind of went away, and it was a solo effort. I mean, how have you seen the thing, basically the trophy truck class? I mean, how have you seen this change? And I mean, where do you think it's headed?
Well, it's interesting for me because I started out as the biggest fanatic of this sport when I was younger. And Ivan Stewart, Larry Ragland, Walker Evans, Robbie Gordon, Rob McCaffrin, Kurt LeDuc, the Herbst boys. I was the sport's biggest fan, back in the mid to late 90s. And what's different is then, even right after the factory teams left, at any given race, there might have been only 5, maybe 10 trophy trucks, running. Class 1 was the big class. Yeah. And, Class 1 would have the 20, 30, 40 entries every race, and the trophy trucks, like I said, would have 5 or 10. And it's interesting because it's almost coming back full circle because the McPherson truck, when it came out, 4-wheel drive, they didn't have a lot of success with it, but it was a fast truck, and they were trying something different, than what was the mainstream, what everyone else was doing. And then you go to like Larry Ragland coming out with a mid-engine truck with a V-drive and winning, 4 Baja 1000s in that truck, 3 years in a row in 95, 96, 97. And then Robbie going from the Riviera truck to his mid-engine truck, that he drives now, taking off of Larry Ragland's success in his truck in the Baja 1000s. And today it's coming back. There's 4-wheel drive trucks. Guys are starting to build their own in-house build trophy trucks, with their own geometry and their own little secrets on them. And it feels like kind of the heyday is starting to come back, in the trophy truck class where there's so much stacked competition. There's such a high level of competitiveness in the drivers and in the teams. And everyone has such a big will to win these races. And for a lot of people, it's not, money isn't an issue. If they need to develop something and they want to be successful, they'll pump the money into it in order to be successful. And now that a lot of the sponsorship dollars are coming back, and you see guys like DJ and Rob and Bryce, with these big energy drink companies and Tavo, and it's just really cool to see it. It's cool to be a part of it, and I'm blessed that my family, has been in this sport for a while, and I kind of grew up in it to have these opportunities to race with a guy like Rob McCaffrin and win Baja 1000s. And so it'll be interesting to see where the sport goes in the next, 2 to 3 years, with the 4-wheel drive thing coming out, with these teams building their own trucks, and who knows where it's going to go. But it's an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to watching it progress.
Yeah, and I'm as much as I like to drive. I mean, I'm a fan of the sport as well, and I think I think you're spot on. I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes, and you never know who's got some idea in their head and in a bank account to make it happen that is just sitting there and some new creation we're going to see in 2 or 3 years that nobody's even thought of.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the beauty of our sport is that it's the trophy truck class it's unlimited. The turbos haven't hit the stage yet, but I'm sure, in the next 5 or 10 years, that'll be a hot topic of conversation, that'll be brought up. And you're starting to see it in the Best in the Desert series with Josh Daniels' trophy truck. And that's what's cool about our sport is that the sky's the limit. There's not a lot of spec rules, besides, chassis tube sizing around the roll cage that really limits, what we can do with our vehicle. So, it'll be interesting to see, who starts trying different things, and we're already starting to see it now, and it's just really cool to see.
Yeah, I think the progression is just been nuts, especially the past couple of years. I think, you'd mentioned four-wheel drives, twin turbos. I mean, I think gearbox technology is definitely stepping up. I mean, we've been running the same automatics for years, and it seems like finally guys are kind of starting to go the sequential route, and I think, the next couple of years we're going to see that pick up as well.
Yeah, I think another big one, that's been somewhat, consistent over the last 20 years is shock technology. It took a big leap in the early 90s and the mid 90s with the trophy truck class and shock technology. And, way back when it was Custer making their coilovers and their bypass shocks. And then King is kind of a spinoff off Custer. And then Fox shocks came into the scene in the mid 2000s with their trophy truck shock packages. And they've had a lot of success, and King has had a lot of success. And it'll be interesting to see where the technology goes in the shock game, because our sport is so heavily predicated on the shocks and the tires, the stuff that's actually working, that's hitting the ground, that's not drivetrain related. And I think there's a lot of upside and a lot of potential for, some crazy kind of shock technology that could come out and could really be a big game changer as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. Before we let you go, I want to give you guys' family book a quick plug. I know I've been lucky enough. Your Uncle Mark shot me over a copy of it, and I've been able to read through it. And I got to tell you, a guy that's been around the sport since 1980 when I was born. It's brought back a lot of my childhood to me. I mean, it's got to be pretty exciting for your family to have that out.
Yeah, I mean, when my uncle said he was going to start putting his book together and he wanted a bunch of old pictures, we weren't really sure, what to make of it. Then he told us he had Marty Fiolta working on it, and going back to Marty's book, 1,000 Miles to Glory, and kind of re-looking through that, and I'm like, this could have the potential to be really, really unique. And now that the book's out, and just hearing people's feedback on it, it's basically, 40 plus years of the culmination of a family's, competitive nature and competitive hobby, if you will, of off-road racing. And that book, you can really see the progression of the race cars from where we started with a Class 9 car in 1976, to racing 3 trophy trucks in 2015. It's just really neat. And they had a really cool, we did a book signing at Horsepower Ranch at the Off-Road Hall of Fame induction ceremony for Rob McCaffrey and Parnelli Jones there. It was a big turnout. People were buying a bunch of books and we were signing them. And it was just really cool to see, fans of the sport and even drivers. Rob McCaffrey bought a book and he brought it up and wanted us all to sign it. And that was just really cool. But it's definitely a neat book, and you can buy them on Race Desert. They're for sale on there, and we got a lot left. So perfect Christmas present. I plan on giving some away this year as Christmas presents to my close friends.
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool read and a really cool story. So I encourage everyone to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I think anybody that's an off-road fan, it's definitely a perfect gift for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in, Andy. Congrats on, I guess, back-to-back Baja 1000 wins, and looking forward to seeing what you're up to in 2016.
All right, Jim. I appreciate it. We'll see you out at the races. Good luck at your next one, and all the best. And congrats on your success with your show here. I love it. Listen to it all the time.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Andy. I appreciate it, and we'll talk soon, my friend.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
All right. Take it easy. All right, that was Andy McMillan, your Baja 1000 champ, teaming up with Rob McCaffrey for yet another win. That's right. To get that McMillan family book, racedesert.com, race-desert.com. Definitely a good read. I've got a copy of it that Mark sent me, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through it, and just amazing read. If you're an off-road fan, definitely get your hands on a copy of that. We're going to take a short break. We come back. Jeff Proctor, he's going to be calling in. We are going to be talking about Honda off-road, all that and more. Coming up on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XD Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XD Series wheels at KMCWheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels, like no other.
Rigid Industries is the original and #1 LED light bar manufacturer in the world. Torture tested by some of the best drivers in motorsports. Rigid LED lighting products use cutting-edge technology and can stand up to the harshest conditions Mother Nature can dish out. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States, Rigid LED lighting is the only choice for your off-road vehicle or boat. Find out more information on the entire line of Rigid Industries LED lighting products at www.rigidindustries.com.
Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Get on and go. Go where the jackpots flow like the mighty Colorado River. And go for free. Blue Water Resort and Casino now offers free bus transportation from the Lake Havasu City area. Just hop on and we'll do the driving. And convenient? 3 pickup times on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Pickup points are Bash's South Side on Maricopa and the London Bridge Swap Meet parking lot. Seating limited to the first 28 passengers per bus. First come, first serve. Call 888-243-3360. That's 888-243-3360. Or visit BlueWaterFun.com.
to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Jim Beaver in the house, and just got done with Andy McMillan, your 2015 Baja 1000 champ, teaming up with Rob McCachran. And, man, talk about an awesome run down there in Baja. But speaking of Baja, speaking of awesome runs, I'd like to introduce my next guest, Mr. Jeff Proctor, man behind the new Honda off-road program. How's everything going, Jeff?
Yeah, everything's going great, Jim. Thanks for having me on the show.
No problem, man. I think it's definitely a long time coming. I think we've been talking, and for a while, but you've got a lot to talk about now.
Yeah, it's tough to keep me quiet about all the exciting things that are happening in the Honda off-road space, and I'm just thrilled to be able to share what we have going on.
Yeah, well, I know. First I heard about this, I think, was at the Mint 400. I think I ran into you guys in a meeting with KMC by accident. But when did this whole thing come about? I mean, that was back in March, but the ball had to have been rolling quite a bit before then.
Yeah, I think you kind of stumbled upon some insider information that night in the KMC Big Rig, but. We've been working on this program, this platform, probably for the last 2 years, and it's kind of interesting how it all came about. I was out at the Indy 500 watching some open wheel racing, and I was having dinner at the downtown Indianapolis Marriott with a couple of the Honda racing executives. And my passion for off-road racing, I just started kind of talking about the dirt. How exciting our sport is in off-road. And, you're talking to a bunch of oval guys that watch cars go around in circles, and showed them a couple pictures on videos on my phone of some YouTube trophy truck action, and just kind of started to stoke the flame a little bit with the Honda executives. And, for lack of a better term, we kind of started to conceive a potential program on a napkin over dinner at the downtown Indianapolis Marriott. And at that point, it just kind of was the right timing. They always say in business, timing is everything. And it was at that point where those guys were starting to make some decisions for the future of the Ridgeline production truck. And it seemed like that, a big announcement with this masculine trophy truck type unlimited race truck might fit for the launch of the new production Ridgeline. And that's kind of how it was all conceived. And then over the course of the next probably 6 months, we actually put a professional plan in writing with the team over at American Honda. And here we are today, debuting it at the Baja 1000.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how those things happen, right? Over dinner on a napkin, and and it's just funny how you hear about some of the big motorsports projects or just about anything, and it seems like it always revolves around a cocktail napkin, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it just so happened, we were kind of at the right place at the right time with the right people, and I can't express enough how exciting. I mean, we live in this off-road bubble, so to speak. And we know that the sport is exciting, but to other forms of motorsports around us, they actually see us as this really exciting form as well. And it was cool to see them kind of catch the vision of what this sport is about and get kind of the people at American Honda on board.
Yeah, well, and I know Honda. I mean, they've got they've got a base in in the U.S. in dirt sports. I mean, I know I work with Rally America, and James has had a phenomenal run there with with basically what is a stock Honda Fit. So I definitely see them jumping in to the off road program. I mean, this truck though quite a bit different. I know in Rally that's Fit is pretty much a stock vehicle. I mean, this is completely unlimited. I mean, how is Honda's involvement in this truck's development? Because I mean, your powertrain is something unlike anything we've seen in desert racing before.
Yeah, the support that we've received from American Honda has just really been uncanny. It's something that we didn't anticipate early on in the program. To be honest with you, I mean, we've been working directly with their marketing departments, their public relations departments. Most importantly, we worked side by side with their R&D America department, actually with the CAD files and getting their production CAD file truck design body to mate onto a tube frame trophy truck frame. And we worked closely with them on that. Went through, a lot of different iterations to get the truck to look as close to production as possible, but yet still fit the wheel travel parameters of an unlimited race truck. And from R&D's perspective, then we went off and had a 5-axis milling machine mill the body specifically to the CAD specs. And then once we had the body milled, it went off to Fiberworks in San Diego. Those guys were great to work with. And those guys did the final molds at Fiberworks, and we produced the body. From there, so there's all these different entities of a manufacturer that we had to work with. From there, we began working with the engineers at HPD, which is the racing entity of American Honda that handles all the sports car racing and more notably their IndyCar program. And so we have a lead engineer on the program, Matt Niles. He also has a team of guys that works with him on getting this HR35 TT powertrain into this trophy truck. It was exciting to work with the team of engineers at HPD, and they've done a lot of testing with this HR35 TT on the sports car front. Some of you might be familiar with the Michael Shank racing program. They race in LMP2 in the 24 Hours Daytona. And then this particular platform has also been victorious at the 24 Hours Le Mans. So it had some heritage. When we initially conceived the program, there wasn't a lot. It was a brand new engine platform. There wasn't a lot of R&D, but by the time we got to the Baja 1000, there was plenty of R&D on this particular platform, and we just needed to adapt it to our chassis and off-road racing.
Yeah, well, and how hard was that process? I mean, I forever have always wanted to see an IndyCar engine in a trophy truck, but I mean you guys have gone and basically done that here. I mean I know you've got a sequential gearbox, which is a little different than a lot of guys in trophy truck, but I think with the engine you almost have to. I mean obviously you guys had some success in 1000. I mean was the process of getting it to work correctly? I mean, was it tough, or was it pretty seamless?
For the most part, there's always challenges with the new build, but for the most part, it was seamless. Working with LaFortune Race Cars, they built the chassis and did a lot of the plumbing and installation of this particular platform. And so for the specifics of what we had to do to adapt it to this off-road race truck. Basically with the steering column and the different components on the driver's side, we actually had to mount both of the turbos on the passenger side of the engine compartment. And then, of course, because of our, suspension tower and everything in the front, the engine is kind of pushed back underneath the dash quite a bit. And that allows, one, for the turbos to be on the passenger side. And then there's plenty of clearance for intercoolers and the scoop on the hood so that we get proper cooling for, all the heat management that this particular platform needs.
Yeah. Well, and obviously going down to the Baja 1000, expectations, I think going in, I mean, you guys just wanted to finish, right? I mean, you finished, you won your class. I mean, how was that? I mean, this is a new platform. I mean, you go to the biggest, toughest off-road race there is, and you guys had to have been pretty happy with getting that thing across the finish line in its first race.
Well, I think first things first. I mean, it was kind of an insane idea. Now that it's all over, I look back and I go, yeah, that was insane to kind of take a new platform, a new engine program from a major manufacturer and say, hey, we're going to go for its first time out in a brand new race car and go race, one of the toughest, baddest, off-road races in the world. And, there was a lot of pressure on our shoulders. I'll be honest with you. There was some, a little bit of, chatter on the internet. Oh, can these guys do this? Unproven platform. How are the air filters going to survive? How are the turbos going to survive? And, we just made sure that we had a good group of guys surrounding us, at LaFortune Race Cars and, the team of engineers at Honda and just everyone involved in the program to make sure we were crossing our T's and dotting our I's and that we were going to have a good showing for American Honda. And, fortunately, Baja kept fighting back and trying to keep us down, and we battled all day long to get that truck to the finish line and to win Class 2. Ironically, SCORE doesn't allow forced induction into any of their classes other than Class 2. So, the engine configuration had already been made up by American Honda. Hey, we want you to run this twin turbo platform. And so in order to race the Baja 1000, basically we're forced to race in Class 2, which is the only class that allows for an unlimited V6 turbo engine configuration.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys went down there and, you did what you set out to do. I mean, obviously, I think you shut a lot of the naysayers up. But, looking at 2016, what are the plans for the truck in 2016? I've heard Best in the Desert. I've heard some SCORE. I mean, you guys have it all dialed in yet? What you're going to be concentrating on?
Yes, most definitely. So we have a schedule locked in place. It's under contract with American Honda. And basically we set out to race the 5 biggest desert racing races of the year. So it's going to start out in your backyard at the Parker 425. We wouldn't miss that race for anything. Absolutely love racing in Parker. It's just a great format. There's always a lot of fans out there on Shea Road, and just an exciting place to race. So we'll start out there. Then we go to one of the most notable races of the year, the Mint 400. In Las Vegas. We're excited to be a part of that program. And then from there, we'll go Baja 500 down in Ensenada. And, the people of Baja, California just absolutely love Honda racing. I think a lot of it comes from the heritage of two wheels down there. And this year, the truck was really well received by the people down there. So we're looking forward to going back to Baja 500 in June. Then we'll finish out our Best in the Desert schedule in August at the Vegas to Reno race. And that'll be actually a really important test for us, being that, turbos run considerably hotter than a typical naturally aspirated motor. And so that'll be a good test for us through Death Valley in the middle of August with this new engine platform. So we'll do a lot of hot weather testing prior to that. And then we'll round out the season in November at the granddaddy of them all, the Baja 1000.
Nice. Well, and I know obviously with SCORE, I mean, forced induction, not being allowed in quite a few classes. I mean, your class is kind of chosen for you there. I know Best in the Desert, some of the classes, different rules. Do you know, are you going to be running it in, I guess, Trick Truck and Best in the Desert, or is it legal for one of the other classes?
We aren't sure at this point. There's an ongoing discussion with Casey Folks of Best in the Desert and the guy that he kind of relies on for engine information, which is Colby down at Turnkey. And so there's kind of an ongoing discussion right now as to, where this truck will fit in. I will tell you this, the truck was built with a narrower track width than a typical trophy truck. So there is a chance it could fit into another class other than trophy truck. I think we all know that we don't necessarily have the power of the big V8, 850 horsepower trophy truck. So it makes sense for us to fit into a different class, but, only time will tell right now as those conversations are ongoing. I wish I had an answer for you.
Yeah. I mean, back in my mind, when you guys, when I knew about the program, I always thought, okay, I didn't ever think you were aiming for trophy truck. I mean, you could, obviously the truck's a beautiful truck, but back in my mind, I was always thinking, well, the EcoBoost run in 7200, it would make sense that the Honda would run there, but, I guess at this point, it's all in Best in the Desert's hands, right?
That's right.
So, speaking of that, though, I mean, obviously this truck dropped at SEMA. I mean, how was the reception at SEMA? I know, it was off the hook down in Baja. I mean, what is it? You've got a lot of mainstream publicity for this truck. I mean, how's the reception been? I mean, at SEMA, it seemed like, it was the buzz.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We were encouraged by the response at SEMA, and I can't thank American Honda enough. It wasn't like they just kind of said, "Hey, yeah, Jeff, go run this program." The manufacturer really got behind this program, And, from their involvement from a public relations standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, to getting the R&D folks involved and all the engineers. So it's a company that is really behind this effort, and they're excited about this effort. And so when you have that, they're utilizing their resources to really push this. In addition to that, the SEMA unveiling wasn't just, hey, Honda's coming out with a race truck to race the Baja 1000. Honda's plans were to use this off-road race truck as a concept vehicle to say, hey, this is kind of the halo of what's to come next year, meaning the 2017 production Ridgeline that comes out in the spring of next year. And so kind of exciting for our off-road space for a major manufacturer to recognize the off-road space as a place where they're going to develop a concept vehicle, as in this trophy truck, and then also, push it to the North American, Canadian market. And so this truck was actually, the design of this body was the first time anyone in the media has seen the body lines of this new Ridgeline that's coming out. So it's been really exciting to see kind of the media take hold of it, to get an idea of what this new truck's going to look like. And then also, just the fans of motorsport looking at this Ridgeline a little bit differently. And I think there's a lot of good things in store for this production truck when it comes out in the spring of next year.
Yeah. Well, and how has it been for you, transitioning from Trophy Light? I mean, you guys have been highly successful there into an unlimited truck and obviously going from an automatic to a sequential gearbox. I mean, there's got to be a bit of a learning curve for you.
It's interesting that you bring that up. So I think you talk to anyone who races in a limited vehicle, whether it be a 1.2/1600 truck or a Trophy Light that has 2.4 liter 4-cylinder, and those vehicles really teach you how to drive off road, because you have to carry your momentum through the corners, and you can't make mistakes at scrub speed because it just takes that much more time to get back up to speed and going. And so, I like to tell people, to be honest with you, I didn't really feel that, yes, there is a learning curve. I don't want to say, hey, I know how to drive this truck yet, but it's not the learning curve that people think. The Trophy Light truck is a great series to race in, but if you can handle a Trophy Light, I'm pretty sure that you can handle anything else out there on the market. And really the difference is the track width and the wheelbase. Trophy Light's a limited track width. And so when you step up to a bigger, more unlimited truck, you have more of a wider stance, longer wheelbase, and it's just a lot more forgiving on the driver. So if you drive with those same limited instincts and skills of carrying momentum through the corner, I want to say that you can find some success at the unlimited level. And as far as transitioning the gearbox, I can't tell you how much I love this ST6 Albin's transmission. I mean, it is just so fun to drive with these turbos spooling up at about 3,500 RPM, and just shifting through the gears. It reminds me of my two-wheel days on a Honda motocross bike, where you're just banging through the gears without having to pull the clutch, and it's just so fun to drive. I mean, every time I get behind the wheel of this 2017 Ridgeline Unlimited truck, I just have a smile from ear to ear. And I want to say one small thing that I had to adjust to was lifting between shifts. So those that know kind of the manual gearbox of this Albin's, you actually have to lift for, I want to say it's like a second and a half in order for the gears to sink in. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there where you have to kind of find the sweet spot when you're shifting. But other than that, I absolutely love this 6-speed gearbox. I think it's a game changer in the industry, and I think we're going to see a lot more unlimited trucks switching over to this gearbox. And Weddle has done a nice job bringing this gearbox to our sport.
Yeah, well, it was funny you mentioned that. I just talked with Andy McMillan, and we were talking about kind of the future of trophy truck, and both was the same thing you said. I think in the next couple of years you're going to see everybody with a sequential gearbox. So there you go. You guys are ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, you kind of have to be when you're working with Honda. They want you to be ahead of the curve. They're a progressive company, and that was kind of the gearbox of choice for this particular HR35 TT engine platform.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in, Jeff, and congrats on the Baja 1000 finish, the new program. I, for one, am amped for you guys for 2016, and looking forward to following the journey with you.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on again, Jim. It's been a pleasure, and I just want to thank everybody involved with the program. It's been a kind of a dream come true to be a part of this factory effort and to work alongside a major manufacturer in a sport that doesn't have a lot of manufacturer involvement. And can't thank those guys on the team that got us down to Mexico and across the finish line at the Baja 1000. And of course, my other drivers down there, Sage the Rage Murray and Jason LaForge, and those guys did a great job pulling their weight in their section. So again, Jim, thanks again for having me, and look forward to racing this truck next year.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Jeff, and good luck in 2016.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, you too. All right. That was Jeff Proctor with Metro Honda and the new Honda Off-Road program. You're going to find out a lot more on these guys as, his 2016 rolls around. Debuting at SEMA, racing the Baja 1000, getting a finish, and talk about a beautiful, beautiful build. We're going to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. We come back, Dani Medin, she's going to be calling in. We're going to talk a little snowcross and some AMA Pro Flat Track. Want to make mention we're going to be giving some Cyber Monday shout-outs all show long, but right now we've got a special Cyber Monday discount code set up for 25% off at Hoonigan, Hoonigan.com. Our good friends at Hoonigan offering 25% off. That code to get that deal is Down and Dirty. That's right. We got our special code with Hoonigan, Down and Dirty, 25% off at Hoonigan. All that swag, you too can look just like Ken Block. So, Hoonigan.com. Use the code Down and Dirty, 25% off Cyber Monday today only. We'll be back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, with Dani Medin after the break.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, Snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And in hour number 1, we're kicking off hour number 2. And before we jump into Dani Medin, I want to make mention once again, Cyber Monday going on. A lot of our partners involved in Cyber Monday. Head over to dirtfish.com, get some discounts on some classes at Dirtfish Rally School. RaceDesert.com, they've got some discounts on all kinds of T-shirts, videos, and swag. And then our friends at Hoonigan, Hoonigan.com. Use that code Down and Dirty. It's going to give you 25% off your order at Hoonigan.com. Cyber Monday in full effect here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. And right now we're going to skip over to Dani Medin. How's everything going, Dani?
Can I say good morning, or is that bad?
Good morning, good afternoon. I don't know. It's I guess it all depends. I always say it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Right. Well, I like that, but I don't know if I can start drinking wine this early in the day.
Well, it's early in the day here, but it's not early in the day, say, in Europe. I don't know.
I know.
5 o'clock's a fluid concept for me.
When my Siberian Husky doesn't want to get out of bed in the morning, that tells me something. So I literally just got out of bed like 30 minutes ago. I'm such a bum.
Oh, geez. You're an Arizona girl now. I like it. You finally moving to back to the great state of Arizona, right?
Oh, it is so awesome. I love it here. I was going to go back to Minnesota, but I'm like, I don't know if I can handle winter yet. So here I reside in good old Chandler, Arizona, and I love it.
I can tell you, I was in Prescott and then Williams this weekend, and if you want some cold, literally 2-hour drive from Phoenix, you can have your cold. It was ridiculously cold up there. Snow was on the ground and everything else. So, if you want a dose of Minnesota weather, just drive up, I-17, about 2 hours and go to Flagstaff for lunch.
Mm-hmm. I plan on snowboarding a couple times this winter, so we'll see. It's been, I don't think I've snowboarded since like high school, but I got to get back into the snow somehow. I miss it.
Yeah, so your back's not good enough to snowmobile anymore, but it's good enough to snowboard? I don't know. What's going on here?
Well, no, I'm going to go snowmobiling when I go home for Christmas, of course. I have to do at least one ride a year, so. And I'm still working on a possible, I don't even want to say out of retirement thing, but there's the I-500, which people are pretty familiar with. I might dust off the gear bag to do a little thing for charity. I mean, I don't race anymore. It's been 5 years, so I wouldn't be going out there to win. It would just be to raise some money for pink ribbon riders. So, but I'm still working on some final things. My parents were pretty pissed when they heard I wanted to do that race of all things. So I got to sweet talk my dad into not wanting to murder me prior. So, but I have a team that said that they have a sled for me, and I'm kind of just finalizing some details. I got to make sure that my back can really handle this, and I'm not going to go out there and kill myself. So,
dang, they're bringing.
Anyway, that's my plan.
Yeah, they got a sled for you and everything. It's like they're bringing in a ringer,
right?
Oh, geez. What do you? I mean, you're a Minnesota girl. What do you think of this new event? Have you heard much on the new Snow Boundaries event, where they're combining snowcross and hill climb and cross country and all that into one up there in Elk River?
It looks like a hell of a lot of fun, and I wish I was still in the industry.
Right.
It seems really cool. I mean, I got a couple of Facebook messages like, "Oh, are you going to do it?" I'm like, "Hell no." But it's I thought that there's like a ditch banger class and then like a racer class, so that's pretty cool because there's some really good like just everyday trail riders, ditch banger people, that can shred pretty good. So maybe I'll make a trip out just to kind of witness it, because I've never honestly been to, like, besides Red Bull Straight Rhythm, I don't think I've ever been to like one of those cool like Red Bull events. So maybe that will be my first.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I look at an event like that, and you mentioned the ditch banger class. Like, I'll race anything, and I just look at something like this, and I'm like, this would be something I would want to race. Like, no, I know I wouldn't have any shot at winning or even a podium, but it would just be fun to go out and do. I think, to me, getting to the finish line in that event would be a win.
Well, hey, maybe we can team up.
Yeah, right. Right. I'll give you all the tough sections. I'm horrible on a snowmobile.
Oh, that's great. You would do better than me. I'm so weak. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, I had you on here. We are just rambling about all kinds of nothing. But, I mean, Snocross this weekend, I know you had to tune into the live stream, and you wrapped up Pro Flat Track there in Vegas. And I know Vegas is a huge event for flat track.
It was so awesome. I did not, when it came to be Monday and I was driving back to Arizona from Vegas, I'm like, can we just rewind a couple days and do this again? it was so cool to end the season in such a unique way. I mean, once again, I'm a rookie with flat track. I had no idea what to expect. So we had our finals. We wrapped up our season on Friday in a pretty epic fashion. It was complete bar banging racing. I mean, it was a short track, very, very small track. Everybody, for the most part, people had a pretty good attitude about it. I mean, there was, social media posts and stuff, and people were hit or miss whether they were happy to be there or not. It played out in certain people's favors, and it didn't in others. And then we followed it up with the Super Prestigio of the Americas, the first ever one here in our country. And for me personally to be a part of that, I never dreamed that I would have been able to be the talent, working that event. And then they obviously broadcasted it on TV the other day. I didn't get a chance to see it, but from what social media was saying, everybody was blown away by how great the coverage was. And then the coolest thing about the Super Prestigio, of course, was, it was everybody on two wheels, from road racing, of course, our flat trackers. I mean, anybody that's good on two wheels was pretty much there. And to see them going up against, the top American flat trackers, I was quite impressed at some of these guys. The Roger Hayden, I watched his Instagram and stuff, so he's been doing flat track for years, so I expected him to come out and tear it up, and I was beyond impressed at his skills. Seeing Larry Pegram, he's a friend of mine, and I've seen him at Torque and stuff, so to see him there, and I know he's got flat track roots, and to see him take the win in that all-star class was phenomenal. And then, of course, our guys swept the podium. So I was very, very impressed. It was so cool.
Yeah, I was able to kind of get a bit of coverage here and there, and I've still got, a lot to catch up on. I've got stuff stored in DVR and everything else. But, it just, looked like an amazing event. I know, you hear about Vegas all year long, and, talk about a way to cap things off. I mean, how was your, you call this your rookie year of flat track. I mean, how was this year? I mean, I know what it's like. I mean, to be thrown into a new sport. I wouldn't say new, but I mean, I've been a rally fan forever. I've covered rally, but it wasn't until this year working with Rally America, for 8 rounds coast to coast that you really get to know the ins and outs of a series. And so I can feel how that was with you with flat track. I mean, I'm sure you had an idea of things, but until you actually work with a series, you really don't have any idea.
This was completely new to me in every aspect. I had never been to a flat track race prior to Daytona. I had never watched a race in person. I've seen some guys, practicing on the ice near my house growing up. I've been to motocross races. I've rode dirt bikes. I've raced a tiny bit of motocross. So for me, I had no idea what to expect, and then of course they start out on the singles on the 450s and they go to the twins, and I'm like, holy crap, it is such a diverse motorsports discipline that there's just so much. There's 4 different types of tracks. There's a guy that's good at every track. There's Brian who's good at the miles. There's Jared who's pretty much good at everything. Then you get these other guys that all of a sudden they'll just clean house at some of these short tracks. There's just so much to learn, and it comes at you so fast. I mean, believe me, I probably screwed up so much stuff, but the fans, I think, were really patient with me. I got a lot of great feedback. I mean, it was tough, at Daytona, because I hadn't done live announcing in years prior to that. I said I never would do it again. And then this opportunity came to me, and I couldn't say no. Because if I can't race, what's the next best thing?
Yeah, talking about
being on the podium, being up there with these guys and smelling the gas and tasting their sweat, so to speak. I mean, I'm just so impressed at the hard work, the talent, the risks that these guys take. I mean, believe me, for people that just watch Snocross, there's nothing like the start of a Pro Open National, especially at Duluth when they're come barreling down that hill. But you get these twins on the line and you see them scraping elbows against the Springfield Mile guardrail. It's like, holy crap. Yeah. They're fearless. And these guys are young. Some are older, like Kenny Coolbeth, but it's like, that doesn't even matter. Then you got the girls like Nicole and Sheena. It's like, it's just so cool. There's nothing like it. And I wish I could get out there. I was like, can I just do a powder puff race? Can you guys start that?
Yeah, that would. I got to tell you, my favorite event the whole year, and it threw me for a loop because I'm like, what the heck just happened? Like I said, I mean, I've learned flat track this year. I mean, they had it next games, so I go, we got to cover it. Then my good friend Danny all of a sudden becomes the face of the series. So okay, we really got to cover it now. But I think it was Peoria where they actually have the jump, and I'm like, what the hell just happened here?
Yeah,
I'm watching videos, and all of a sudden these guys are on their, on dirt bikes set up for flat track, jumping tabletops. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? I mean, I was totally thrown for a loop.
And then, when I get into the series, I did as much research as I could with the resources that are out there and, like, my media guide and stuff. And it's like, okay, so I knew coming into that, okay, Henry Wiles is the guy. But there's other guys that ride motocross, so, here's me going, if you ride motocross, that's going to be to your advantage. But there's nobody out there like Henry Wiles. I mean, it was like just the way he rode that track. It's like, this is his track, and he won it for the 11th time. It's like, you get those guys that are good at that, but it's like, you can still make mistakes. I mean, it's not like that race was like, so to speak, handed to him. I mean, you still have to finish to win.
Yeah.
But that's a cool track, and I know that there's some other, I think the Castle Rock PT was another track, but I don't know what's going to happen if we go there next year. But my favorite, I can't even say what my favorite part of flat track is. That's such a hard question to answer. I've really become a part of the flat track family, I feel like, and I really pray that next year they want me back. Because I got to know these guys, these families, by the end of the year, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're just ending? I feel like we're just beginning. But I guess, Daytona's only going to be here in 3 more months, so I'm praying that I get asked again. And if I don't, I think I lived it up the best that I could.
Yeah.
I learned, a whole new sport, and now I'm a flat track fan. So they made me a fan no matter if I have the job next year or not.
Yeah, well, I think you did a tremendous job, and I know how it is. I mean, you start working with these people week in and week out and traveling with them, and, I mean, they become your family away from home, and so you definitely get attached to them. You get to know the kids and everything else, and it's quite a unique experience.
Yeah, there's just nothing like it. Like, I cannot say it enough. If you're not a flat track fan, go to a race. There's all these people that fly in for Monster Energy Cup, and I'm sorry, I think, yeah, that's a cool event. But go to like the Springfield Mile. Come to Peoria TT. It's just as cool. It's not better.
Yeah. So we gotta switch gears here, though. We gotta talk some snowcross. I know you had to have been tuned in this weekend to the live stream. I mean, the kickoff in Duluth. I mean, I guess Duluth kind of your backyard, not too far away, a couple hours. But I mean, what did you think of the opening rounds?
Well, the Dominator. I watched most of the Dominator. I was watching on fanschoice.tv, and my computer's like dumb half the time. I had to keep it'd freeze up, and I think it was my computer versus the actual live stream. So, but I watched a lot of the Dominator race, and that is just such a unique thing. And I was talking to Cody actually last night, and I was like, what happened? And he goes, it's so hard. He goes, the Dominator is so hard. I go, over a 20-lap final, he goes, there's just nothing like it. And then to see Tim Tremblay win it again. So basically, Ross and Tim are the only ones that have ever won this thing.
Yeah.
And it's it's a cool race. I had my pick going in, and it wasn't Tim Tremblay, but I was rooting for Cody because the kid is dirty fast. But it wasn't his race to win. But obviously, he took the win on Sunday. I didn't get to see it, but I kept following my social media stuff. But there's nothing like Duluth. I mean, it's the first race of the season. You see who did their work in the off season. And of course Tucker, he's always a force to, he's always a sled out there. But look at Kyle Pleen. I was very, very impressed by Kyle. I think Tucker's got his work cut out for him this season. I don't think it's going to be an easy win every time.
No,
and then to see that Cody Cody took the win on Sunday. I think it's going to be a different season. I don't think we're going to expect I think there's going to be a new champion on top. I do. And I'm not going to say who, because I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to pick favorites. But I hope to see a new champion on top, I should say. Tucker's dominated our sport for so many years, but, with the new Polaris sled, I was super impressed.
Yeah.
They did a phenomenal job, besides, Skidoo taking the Dominator win. I mean,
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting season.
Yeah, well, and I think it was what was it, Sunday? I mean, it was sweep with Polaris in both lights and and Pro Open. So I agree with you. I'm not going to jump out and say we're going to have a new champion, but I think between
I'll say that.
between I don't know. I mean, Tucker's Tucker. The guy's just he's an animal. I mean,
he doesn't even look winded. It's like it's the first race of the season. Some of those guys, you can tell that I don't think I trained hard enough in the off season. And he acts like he just went for a casual stroll along the beach. It's like he's not even winded after. I mean, can you train me? I can't walk out. Oh, that's on my front door. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Kody was playing and I've got him coming up next. But obviously Kody was, I think he was being super cautious once he had the lead. But to see Tucker the last couple of laps, I mean, just narrow that gap. I mean, Kody won by, I think, a sled and a half. But, I mean, Tucker, the guy, after 18 laps, he pours it on. And, I mean, everybody else is tired, and they're just praying for the checkered flag. And here comes Tucker out of nowhere, just hammer down. And I'm like, where does this guy come from? I mean, and he battled from a horrible start through the pack. I mean, the guy's just a once-in-a-lifetime talent. But I think you're right. I think between Kody and Kyle, I think and I mean, there's so many good, talented riders in Pro Open. But I think those three are going to have a shootout this year.
Well, and with that new Polaris sled, I think that could be a huge factor too. I'm not sure what they did at Hades. I didn't really have time to really go around and look at stuff. I always get caught up in the Ansel girl stuff and just trying to talk to people that I've known for years. So, and that place is so big. I don't know the technical side of what they did to the sled, but I think whatever they did, I think it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, tell the truth. Hey, days you were too busy playing Hammerschlagen.
Oh, come on. Don't throw that out there. Me, party, what?
I was right in there, so I can't say much.
Yeah, I was like, I think you were next to me.
Yeah, we were playing Hammerschlagen together. Never played it before until Heydays, and now I'm looking forward to it. I'm already trying to find where I can find a tree stump for my backyard so I can do that at home.
Right, it's a cool game.
Yeah.
It's a cool game.
But no, I think Polaris sled. I mean, I know LaValle's have done a ton of development work on it, and even Levi was saying, hey, the Polaris sled didn't change much for so many years. And,
it was the same thing for 10 years.
So it wasn't like they had a lot of work to do in the off season because it's basically throw a new coat of paint on it and
your wrap kit.
Yeah, exactly. And now I mean it's new platform, but I think they're here to play, and I think we saw that at Duluth for sure.
And the LaValle trailer itself, I mean, with those guys learning from one of the best snowmobile racers, of all time. I mean, we all know Levi's a phenomenal guy, phenomenal rider in several different disciplines. I think for those guys to learn from him versus some other trailers having that advantage, I think that's going to it's clearly helping Kyle. It's only going to help him. It's only going to make him become a better athlete. I mean, he was already a stud to begin with.
Yeah. Well, Zach taking a win. I mean, Mason in light, his first event with LaValle and taking a win. I mean, that's huge.
So I think that trailer is going to be on top this year. But I mean, I'm a Hench's girl. I mean, I've done their PR for a couple of years, and I adore that whole trailer and that whole group of people is so talented, so hardworking with Tim Bender and all that. Cody's a phenomenal athlete, and he's just going to keep getting faster. I mean, he's a wild kid. I always say, I'm like, can you just be a little more smooth because you scare me? Kid is just crazy wide open, but, I'm super proud of Kody for everything that he accomplished, and his mom was blowing me up, of course. So, I hope Kody stays healthy. I hope everybody stays healthy, and I hope that they can give Tucker a run for his money. Yeah, someone's got to.
Yeah, I think they definitely will between Kody, Kyle, and LaValle and Henchies. It's going to be a great year. I'm excited. When's the next one? Right, couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm going to try to. It's hard for me to go to a race in Supercross starts with the Amsel girls, but I'm going to try to go to Lake Geneva again. Last year I had just left Daytona Flattrack to go to the last day of Lake Geneva, so I'm going to try to pull that off again, depending on the scheduling and. Hopefully that race is something that I can go to so I won't freeze and then, see everybody for a final time. So that track's always pretty awesome. I never got a chance to personally race that one. I hated downhills, hence why I finished my career in hill cross. I like going up. I don't like coming down. I only actually raced the Duluth National as a pro woman one time, and my sled blew up on the line on the first heat. So that was after my broken back injury, so we took that as a sign that I don't think God wants you to be out here anymore. So Duluth was always brutal. I mean, I even had bad luck at Duluth and Hillcross. It was never my place for motors. It just never worked. Warm or cold, we never had it right. So, but it's a cool ass place to kick off the season, and all these fans are in store for a great season.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Dani. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in, and we'll have to talk soon.
Yeah. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
All right, no problem. Well, I was just the other day, I was looking, I'm like, crap, we haven't had Dani on in a while, and she wrapped up this Snowcross kicking off. We got to get her on. So, we need to do it more often.
Well, thank you for helping us, grow flat track back to where it was and even better than what it's ever been. It's pretty cool. So hopefully I'll be a part of that next year and just keep following my crazy Instagram of my dog and my awesome life. My wine shenanigans.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Dani, and we'll talk soon.
Yep.
All right. That was Dani Medin. She's AMA Pro Flat Track kind of pit reporter. She also does some stuff for Race 1 online with Torque and Snocross, and used to race Snocross. She's kind of bounced all over the place, but I think her Instagram is Dani on the Daily. Definitely give her a follow. We're going to take a short break. We come back. Amy Houde's calling in. We got Cody Cam, your winner from Snocross up there in Duluth. He's on the line as well. All that and more coming up on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Lee Valley, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, Snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Rigid Industries is the original and #1 LED light bar manufacturer in the world. Torture tested by some of the best drivers in motorsports. Rigid LED lighting products use cutting-edge technology and can stand up to the harshest conditions Mother Nature can dish out. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States, Rigid LED lighting is the only choice for your off-road vehicle or boat. Find out more information on the entire line of Rigid Industries LED lighting products at www.rigidindustries.com.
Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ RZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. 3/4 of the way through this 2-hour show, we've knocked some interviews out. Andy McMillan, Jeff Proctor, Dani Medin, and up next we got Cody Cam calling in just a few minutes, as well as Amy Houde. But Cyber Monday still in full effect. I'm getting more texts and tweets and emails as we speak. Our friends at Wolfpack Parts throwing it down for UTV parts today. Wolfpackparts.com. Be sure and check them out. MTX Audio, MTX.com. They've got deals going on. Race-Desert.com's got them going on. Dirtfish has them going on. And then Hoonigan, our friends at Hoonigan have them going on. And remember, use that coupon code Down and Dirty, 25% off your apparel order at Hoonigan.com. Cyber Monday. I got to tell you, it's, shenanigans over here. And speaking of shenanigans, my partner in crime, Amy Houde, is on the line, and that means...
Now, where the hood at? You better bust that if you don't pull that. Where the hood at?
What is happening, Amy Houde?
Oh, my gosh. How's it going? Happy Cyber Monday. I didn't know how big of a deal Cyber Monday was until I got, all my sponsors hitting me up to be like, post this, blah, blah, blah. But I just think right now, the best deals is with Epica. It's 10% off everything at Epica.com. Girls, the brand new girls line and the guys line. And I know so many people are looking to get their hands on some Epicas for their significant other for Christmas or, for themselves. But it's also Moto Butt Monday. So, I have to give a shout out to Epica because they make the best underwear for your booty. And now the new women's sports bra. So head over to Epica.com and get yourself some Cyber Monday deals. So.
Yeah, you got to get me dialed in with Ethica. I had an underwear sponsor I'm not going to mention on the air because they're no longer my underwear sponsor anymore, but we parted ways about a year ago, mainly because the guy that I liked left the company. I'm in need of some new underwear. I guess I'm going to have to hit up Ethica.
Well, you know what? I've had a lot of sponsors, I think we've talked about this before, that I really kind of gravitate towards relationship side of the industry. So, whether they're the A-list or the B-list or sometimes even the D-list brand, if it's a buddy of mine or a friend where, the relationship, the sponsorship is based on relationship, I'll kind of go over towards that way more than having the best of the best always. But, recently I just tried on the brand new Ethica line for girls, and I have to admit, shameless shout out here, but they make hands down the best sports bra I've ever worn in my life. And for the athletic girls out there listening, or racer girls, it's always been kind of a challenge to find a comfy sports bra for riding motocross. You need to keep the girls in line, but comfort is always something I've seemed to sacrifice for that matter. But the new Ethica sports bra is so awesome. I've texted all my friends and been like, you gotta get one of these. It's awesome. So, and then the new bottoms, they come in a range of different kind of fits and styles, the little thong styles, the booty shorts, and now they make this cool hipster line. They really stepped their game up. But you see so many celebrities like The Game and Machine Gun Kelly and Usher and all these huge pop rock stars rocking Ethica, so they have to be good. They're actually a really high quality brand, and I'm super stoked to be wearing them because it's nice to have something that's the A list of brands out there now. So they're ahead of the game, and I'm so stoked they have girls lines now. So everything I'm always wearing guys gear or all my sponsors, most of their apparel is guy related, so I'm getting extra small guy t-shirts. So it's really nice to actually have something that's fitted for women and actually fits me nice. So yeah, no, their stuff is sweet.
Yeah, I find that funny, that sponsors, that companies, clothing companies, I mean, and it's always geared towards guys. And I look at this, and I've had this conversation with you many times, but it's like,
towards the girl, they have, like, stupid colors, like, just, like, I hate to say it, but for gear-wise, okay? Like, I do like to rock a pink gear, but a lot of times you get, like, a moto brand who makes gear who has, like, free styles only for the girl stuff, and it's, like, flowers or bubblegum pink and blue and like just like purple or something, like just it's so girly. Like not every girl most of the girls who ride are not very girly. Like they're more of like punk rock tomboys, and it'd be cool if we had gear that's actually, badass rather than just like girly and fluffy and like powder puffy. So that's also why I went with canvas, because I could make my own gear and make it however I wanted. But now, like, sometimes I have to admit, like, the gear line for moto stuff is, the women's line for moto stuff is pretty lame. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But
I can agree with you. I got a 7-year-old daughter, and she hates pink, and she likes skulls.
I like pink, but I like the punk rocky, like, hot pink with some skull and crossbones and black and, studded up and stuff like that, not like bubblegum pink or split.
My daughter wants she's not ready for a custom painted helmet yet, but she wants a blue helmet with skulls, and I'm like, but she wants it girly, you know what I mean? And I'm like, everything's freaking pink. I'm like, I've got a 7-year-old daughter who hates pink. Not every girl likes pink. I mean, here's a dad looking literally at this point. I've got my brands that are sponsored by me. Any helmet companies out there listening in, if you make a damn little girl's helmet that's any color other than pink and has skulls on it, send me one. I promise. I give you all kinds of free promos. But you guys got to get off this damn pink kick.
Well, a really cool thing now is you can actually get helmet wraps. So they're like a decal wrap, because getting a custom painted helmet is often pretty expensive, and it's hard to find, like, someone to do it and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of companies now are making helmet wraps, which is cool, because then next year, new sponsors, new design, you can just take the wrap off and get something new. But I would really like to go towards that way, like, No Limits painted my first form helmet, and it is absolutely blows everything I've ever had out of the water. Like, it's so amazing. But I'm really looking maybe towards a wrap for this year, just so I don't have to put the helmet only in the trophy case after I'm done and have a new sponsor for next year or something. But you can interchange them out or swap out the design halfway through the year and get something new. But no, the wraps seem pretty darn cool, and then you can design again whatever you'd like to. So, no, I really think that's badass. But I don't know, for a little girl, I don't know. I'm not too sure if they have like a nice little tiny wrap. But
yeah, I don't know. My helmet I've got's been wrapped. I've got it. I've used it for 2 years now. It's getting ready to be retired here before 2016. But it's the first time I've had one wrapped. And it cost me like $500. I mean, it's a legit wrap, same company that does a lot of the NASCAR guys' helmets, but you can't tell the difference. It's not painted. And the level of detail you can get in a wrap because they digitally print it, it's so friggin' awesome.
Yeah, I know, for sure.
Yeah.
But here, I'm trying to get Cody Cam here to call in right now. He's a little confused. He's like, do you call me or do I call you?
Oh, he texted me like an hour ago and says, hey, I just woke up. Did I miss? I'm like, nah, bud, you got an hour. We're on air, but you got an hour. So, yeah, Cody, you must be hungover after the big win or something. We're gonna give him a load of crap here in a minute.
Yeah, no, for sure. But, Snowcross, just what a crazy, crazy race. Like, I unfortunately couldn't make it down, but I got to go to the Grey Cup. But Snowcross was pretty intense. I mean, we had multiple winners, and then Cody winning kind of like by the hair of his pants to the ice for like a half a lap to go, and Tucker would have been right in there. But it was just a stacked race, and it was kind of anybody's game.
Yeah, we're going to have to find out for him because, I mean, Tucker, the amount of time Tucker made up, I mean, when they started out, Cody was going lap for lap with Tucker. And, you know what I mean, identical times. And so, and he had like a 7-8 second lead. And I think towards the end, I think he lifted a little bit, just to try and conserve and, not make a mistake. And, and I think that's why Tucker was able to reel him in. But I just don't think he thought Tucker was going to push that hard. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, Cody won, and that's all that matters. But, man, it made for an exciting last lap.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, everybody has their money bets on Tucker Hibbert. So, hold on. He's trying to figure out how to call.
Oh, Cody. Here we go. We got Cody Cam. Here we go.
There we go.
All right. Welcome to the show, Cody. How's everything going, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
You're here with Jim Beaver, Amy Houde, and I don't know, in the past 5 minutes we've talked about everything from underwear to helmets to you, and I don't know. So I'm just telling you don't know what the hell you're getting yourself into.
Oh, great.
So, no, we were just...
We might have thrown you under the bus a little bit on, pulling the typical American and not knowing what's up. But, yeah, I know you...
Oh, what? Oh, my God. You just threw both of us under the bus, Hood. You're outnumbered here.
Yeah.
Damn
But I'm
Canadians
the
taking
woman,
over.
so I'm always right. So technically you are always outnumbered.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So no, take us through the weekend. I mean, we'll get to yesterday's main event and in your win. I mean, Amsoil Dominator. Take us through the weekend. I mean, Duluth is quite an interesting event in that you've got the Dominator and then you've got 2 rounds of racing. But Dominator, I mean, this thing is just it's kind of evil.
Yeah, the Dominator is definitely a tough race because it's like 2 laps, so you got to get the start, and the track is so smooth every time that everybody can go fast on it. It's just all about luck, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, then heading into, obviously luck didn't go your way, but heading into, Saturday's rounds of racing, I know you came back, took a podium, and I got to give you props, man, because, obviously jumping the start, that had to take the wind out of your sails, but you were on a mission.
Yeah, I had a great day on Saturday. I qualified first place in both heat races and went into the final with a 1-1, so I was really happy and excited for the final, and I jumped the start, and I had to go to the back row. I had a great race and ended up catching up to third and got on the podium.
Yeah, I mean, how was it coming through the traffic? I mean, you just, I was watching the replay, and I mean, you just, God, you were literally on a mission, man.
Really, I had no idea what place I was in. I had no idea where I was at because I couldn't see anything, and just trying to go fast and pass people is the main goal for that race.
Yeah. Well, then moving into Sunday, obviously, I don't know. I mean, everybody wants to talk about Tucker, and and he had an amazing year last year. But I mean, you literally were shot out of a cannon, and that was you led that thing wire to wire pretty much. I mean, at one point I know you had a huge gap, but to me it looked like you knew you were out front, and you kind of conserving a little bit just to not make a mistake, right?
Yeah, definitely. I got the whole shot, and I knew I had a lead, so I started to relax a little bit and try to save some energy for the last couple laps. And luckily I did that because Tucker came on really quick on the last 2 laps, and I had energy to push it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it made for one of the most exciting snowcross races I've seen in quite some time, man. You talk about the new Polaris platform. I know things definitely changed up now, with the new Axis platform. I mean, how's that been for you? I mean, how's the change been moving to the new platform?
I like it a lot. It's helps you turn a lot better. It's a lot skinnier. It's almost like riding a dirt bike in the turns and stuff now, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, how is the off season? I mean, do you train a lot on a dirt bike, and does that make it easy to swap over into snowcross? I mean, what's the off season look like for you?
Yeah, in the off season I do lots of dirt bike riding, and this summer I did lots of mountain biking also, and I'm pretty sure that's helping a little bit.
And you're a pretty good motocross racer from what I've seen and heard. So, I don't think you give yourself enough credit for how fast you actually are on a dirt bike.
Yeah, I say I just ride them, but I actually do a couple nationals and some local races that I usually win. So.
Did you start on a dirt bike, or did you start on racing snowcross?
Well, I started riding dirt bikes when I was 5, and then when I was about 14-ish, I started riding snowmobiles for my cross training, because you can't ride dirt bikes in the snow, and then snowmobiles kind of took off a little bit from there.
Interesting.
You've been able to obviously you're a dirt bike guy. I know Polaris. I think they're involved with is it timber sled? I mean, you had a chance to ride a bike out in the powder yet?
No, I have not got to ride one of those yet.
I got to tell them, hey man, I just took a win on this new Axis platform. You gotta shoot me over some something to adapt my bike for some snow, right?
Yeah, I would like to try one of those. They look pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
They look so fun.
Yeah. Well, I got to ask, I mean, obviously doing a lot of racing and stuff. You ever jump into the ramp side of things and do a little freestyle at
all? No tricks for me.
No tricks for you. Totally not interested, huh?
I don't know. I did a heel clicker a couple weeks ago out in the mountains, and it somehow turned into a Superman. So.
Oh. Well, that being said, I know, obviously, the buzzword X Games, that's coming up. I know you were invited back to X Games. I mean, how do you prepare for that? I mean, what would, an X Games gold be like for you?
I don't know. I have 2 silvers, so I'd like to add a gold to the collection. X Games is definitely a lot of hard work because you're up in the mountains and breathing is a main factor out there, and it's just really hard to race out there.
I know it's crazy. First time I announced the live stream and did some demos in a Razor up there at Crested Butte for the Ultimate Snowmobiler event last April, and I think it was like 11,000 feet, and I was up there for 4 days. I couldn't sleep at all. I mean, I was fine during the day, but you go to bed in that high altitude, and it screwed with me. So I can only imagine, racing at that altitude and being, getting the heart rate up. It's got to be tough.
Oh yeah, it's really tough. A couple of years ago when I went out there, I got real sick when I first got out there. It's definitely tough for the body to get used to.
Yeah, for sure. So, looking at this season, I mean, obviously, you've got a win and a podium. I mean, you're right in there in the points. I mean, obviously, you got your, you got your eyes set on a points title. I mean, what's it going to take to win this year and take home the points championship?
Just pretty much stay focused and be on the podium every race and make sure Tucker's behind you sometimes.
I mean, and that's got to be tough. I mean, it's got to feel good though. I mean, coming in and being able to beat him. I mean, you straight up, head-to-head battle, being able to beat him and in one of the opening rounds. I mean, it's got to give you some momentum going forward this season.
Oh yeah, it's definitely exciting for me. I kind of wasn't really expecting it actually, but I had a good race and really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah. Any specific tracks you're definitely looking forward to this year?
Probably Canterbury in first weekend of January, I believe it is.
Yeah, that's always one of the big ones, man. And I know fans love it because they get to be inside, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually -20 out, and fans get to be in the heaters, so it's always nice for the fans.
Yeah, and we're stuck outside.
Yeah, exactly, right. You gotta find a way to sneak in there, right, when you're not on the sled and get some of that heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got anything for Kody, Amy?
No, I mean, I'm just super pumped. Everybody always talks about Tucker, and he's always seemed to manage to pull some rabbit out of the hat and win that first opening round in Duluth. So, must be a huge confidence booster for you, and I just think it kind of sets the pace on what we're going to see for the rest of the season this year. So, no, just good job. Should have put
Thank you.
Money on it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Kody, and you take it easy, and good luck at the next one.
Okay, thank you guys a lot.
All right, take it easy, buddy.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. So, Amy, I know we've got, talking some snowcross, but we've got some absolute huge Supercross news. Chad Reed dropping some bombs. Actually, Racer X dropping some bombs on Twitter this morning. That's where I caught it. But Chad Reed made the announcement. Hasn't announced team yet, but he's going to be on a Yamaha in 2016. That's big.
You know what? I'm going to backtrack just a little bit before that and say even bigger bombs dropped is the fact that we saw Ricky Carmichael line up for a Supercross, the Australian Supercross this past weekend. So I just think that is fantastic, so cool for him, and in typical Carmichael fashion, pulled a win out in the second night, exchanging wins with Chad Reed. But night Ricky Carmichael the second, and they were just so made a lot of posts on social media about having like the time of their life, and it was so cool for them to ride together, and I'm just so stoked to see stuff like that. Like, that is so rad. And no, I think it was kind of like under wraps. Like, I didn't know that he was racing. Like, I thought the guy was lugging back some brews in a golf cart. I didn't know what he was up to. So no, that was really, really cool. But yeah, no, Chad Reed on a Yamaha. I know he loves Yamahas. So, hopefully we'll see a really comfortable Chad Reed race at Supercross this year. But I mean, if a 40-year-old out of shape dude can come back for one race of the year and sneak in a win over you, like, I think he's got a little bit of training to do there. But it is the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time, and he will forever be, such a legend. But no, I think Chad Reed will do really, really well on a Yamaha. We've seen him, he's got his original championship and wins on the Yamaha, like way back in the day. So I know he struggled a little bit with the Cowie. So this might be a good change and a good revamp for him coming into 2016. So I'm excited. It should be good. You know what? I'm really looking to ride a Yamaha possibly for this year. I'm open for sponsorships right now. I've always had a great relationship with Honda. I've loved the Yamaha is so fast, and it's small and a little bit lighter for little people like me. But I know the Yamaha is such a great bike, and it's so fast right out of the box. Like, I've had the opportunity to ride the new one, and holy crap, it's on fire. So yeah, no, great bike. Should be cool.
Yeah. Well, talk about Australian Supercross, because I saw there was a few guys that we see running I guess AMA Supercross down there in Australia. I mean, is this a big series, or is it just something these guys are playing around with in the off season?
Oh no, Australian Supercross is huge. There's always a lot of big names who go down there and ride. The thing is, going to Australia is expensive. Flights are expensive. The bikes over there are expensive, and if you don't have a ride over there already. I know Jimmy Dakotas is over there racing, and he's been really successful. He actually won a lot of the rounds so far. But no, Cooper Webb went over there, and obviously Chad and a few other guys. But there's lots of cool things. You see the guys go over to Europe, they go overseas, they go to Australia. They try to get in a few races, test the bike, test their physical ability before A1 comes around. But I like that. Like, I like the guys who go out there and have fun, and they look like they really enjoy racing. They don't stay in the sidelines, in the shadows, and it's just kind of like, boom, here you go, A1, drop it to you. But I like that, especially Cooper Webb. He goes over to Japan, he goes to Europe, and he does all this racing around the world. And I really like that about him as a rider and an athlete, that he just does it all. But I feel like that's the best way to get prepared and ready for A1, is to have all the experience you can get coming up to the first round. Like, it'll really prepare him. So no, I guess we'll see how it goes. But no, Australian Supercross is big. It's a really well-known series throughout the year. So
yeah. Well, I gotta stir a little bit of controversy, just because I'm going to watch the Red Bull Straight Rhythm, the Signature Series broadcast. I recorded it, and then I watched it last night when I was prepping for the show. So Kenny Roczen talking a little smack on Ryan Dungey. They were talking about they were interviewing Roczen, and Dungey was, I don't know where Dungey was at, but he goes, yeah, he's like, I'm the guy to beat. And he's like, Dungey's always quick, but my riding skills are a whole lot better than his. And
oh, gosh.
And I'm listening to this going, I'm like, man, talk about throwing the guy that's just kicked your ass for a couple of years now under the bus. Like, I mean, I'm like, at this point, I'm kind of going, to me, Dungey's the guy to beat. I mean, obviously, he's got the target on his back. For somebody to just completely discredit his riding ability, I was like, wow.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that Ken said something like that. I mean, these three teammates, and I know they might not be friends anymore. I have no idea. But when it comes to an event like Straight Rhythm, I do think Ken he has a better repertoire of hanging it all out there, being very stylish and, aggressive, kind of like he kind of has that new up-and-comer young gun style to him, but did that do anything for him? No. I mean, he even went off the track. Like, that's pretty pathetic, I might add. But, Ryan Dungey is low and slow, and like we always talk about him being the locomotive, where he's a successful championship racer, where he knows how to, ride smart. But we don't normally see him just throw it all out there. Straight Rhythm, we did. And Ryan was, incredible straight rhythm racer. Obviously, he's not going to beat Stewart in straight rhythm, but I don't know. Like, I think that was pretty low blow for Ken to say something about that. And maybe we'll see Ryan retaliate in Supercross. Yeah. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah,
little internal rivalry and competition. Like, I like seeing that. Like, I like seeing two guys who are out to get each other throughout the whole Supercross season, because it always makes for good racing when you see them side by side, and one's a little dirty and the next weekend the other's a little dirty. Like, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it was just, I was watching it, and it caught me. It was just a regular interview, and all of a sudden Dungey, it was totally like Dungey thrown under the bus, and I'm like, wow, like I did not see that coming. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It might have been a joke. Like, I have to actually see it myself, because I'm not too sure. Like, the context, I could easily tell with Kenny the context that he might have said it in. But Ken is known to be a joker, so he might, he might just be kind of playing the role and making for good TV. Yeah. But it would be a bit out of character for Ken to say something negative about somebody else. Like, I don't know him to be like that. So. No. Hopefully that's not how it's led to. So, everyone respects Ken for being that good guy and being really nice and really, cool to everybody. He's friends with everybody. So I really hope that hasn't changed.
Yeah. No, and you know what? You know how TV is. They cut and paste what they want. Because it was a tape delayed thing. You never know, like you said, the context of the interview up to that point. They could have just spliced out a ton and then just aired that one clip. I'll find the clip online and send it to you. Maybe we'll air it next week if I can find it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it was quite interesting. But like you said, I've always known Roxon to be, pretty much a stand-up guy. I mean, he's an aggressive rider, but he's not a jerk, So. What's that? You're breaking up.
I said, don't become a jerk, Ken. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, before we let you go, I got to give you a plug here. 100,000 Instagram followers. Congrats on that.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know. I just try to keep it real. Try to be weird and do something different on my Instagram and social media, and just honestly be myself. But it's funny because today I kind of noticed some little hate comments and get a little reply back. But, at the end of the day, not everybody's going to like you. You got to remember that. And, keep your social media open with a grain of salt. Most people on there are trolls and like to hide behind, the screen, write mean comments. But, if you're someone looking to promote yourself, like, just do you and enjoy it and be real. But, yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It's fun.
Yeah. I had a little bet going internally. I don't know what I owe you yet, but you beat me in it. So I'm at like 49,400 followers on Facebook, I think.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, let's see. Is Houde going to hit 100,000 first, or am I going to hit 50,000 on Facebook first? Well, you beat me to it. So I don't know what I owe you. I don't know if I owe you dinner and a drink or something.
Dinner on the cake again, because that was like the best dinner I ever ate. Like 4 freaking bread rolls. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I owe you dinner next time I see you. So there you go.
Yay! I like food.
So what else happening? I know you got some First Form stuff popping up, and you're going ice racing in a couple of weeks, right?
Yes, I'm so pumped. Heading out to First Form athlete weekend. But, bigger and better news, I get to go on the ice in 2 weeks. I got an ice oval race, the first one of the year. It's kind of, I'm more of the road racing course. I haven't even done ice ovals, and since I was like on an 80, so it'll be interesting just going left. But we have big, a big crowd hopefully coming in from Saskatchewan and Minnesota and North Dakota, so that should be cool. There's already so much hype and talk because of the tires that we run compared to what the guys over in Saskatchewan run. So they're already whining and complaining. And, you know what it is? Sorry, it's not about the tires. It's about the brake. Because, sometimes we keep the front brake on and sometimes they don't, or something or another. But it's so funny because my dad's like, you know what? If my daughter and a 6-year-old man can do it and you got to, like, whine and complain about it, like, you guys got to get your priorities straight. Because, there's my dad, 60 years old, out there, and he'll probably win the pro class. And I'd really hope to win the B class. But, ice racing is just about going out there and having a good time, and all these guys just whine and complain and blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, my gosh. There's so much drama on ice racing because there's so many different specs. I mean, the different kind of tires you can have, the U.S. versus Canada regulations, blah, blah, blah. Front brake, having the front brake on, having it off. There's a lot of hype around it. So we just say show up and ride and shut up.
That's kind of me. Just shut up and go and race. Seriously? I mean, there's that much drama around ice racing? Come on, people.
I know. And normally we do it on a GT400, some old piece of crap bike. You're really going to care whether we have the front brake on a bike that barely starts? Come on, people.
Well, yeah, it's not like you're racing some $20,000 build or some, bike you guys custom built for ice racing. You know what I mean? I've seen the bike you race. It's just whatever you have in the garage, you throw the right tires on there and go out. I mean, it's not like you've got some, I don't know.
I know, and it's it's so crazy, but no, well, it should be a good time. I don't know, my dad just bought this piece of crap 500 thing. I think it's a CR500. I haven't even sat on it yet, and I'm going to be racing it. So, yep, that goes to show, how much we really care on how good we do. But I might ride one of the old vintage bikes, or I really like the way my dad sets up his 450 for the ice. It handles really, really well. Lots of power. But the vintage bikes are honestly so much more fun. I posted a photo just a couple days ago. We call it the nuclear banana. It's this old Yamaha. It doesn't even have a front number plate. It's so ghetto, but it's so much fun to ride. And when you're on those old vintage bikes, you're literally you're going around the track woohoo! You can't stop, no brakes. It's so ridiculous. It's so much fun. Yeah, but I encourage anybody, if you want to come up to Winnipeg, my dad has 400 ice bikes ready to go. He brings them all down to the track, so everybody, if they're a spectator, he's like, yeah, you gotta try it out. He always loves to get people involved in ice racing. So if you want to, let me know, and you can come down and try it out. I know you and my dad have been talking.
Yeah, I know.
He's bring you out.
Yeah, he sent me a message. He's like, if you want to come up here, I got a bike for you. I said, you realize I'm going to wreck it? And he goes, I would expect you to. He's like, I got a bike for you. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, you and I are on the same page, buddy.
Oh, gosh, that's so awesome. No, he's such a diehard, and he's such a great ambassador of the sport. I just hope I'm as cool as he is when I'm that age.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Amy. Well, we got to let you go, and we will definitely next Monday we're going to have Andy on. I know you're going to First Form. We talked about having Andy on, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. He's really, really excited, and I'd really like to try to talk to him next week. I haven't even mentioned it via text message yet, but getting him hopefully dialed to come to Dirtfish to try some Formula Drift or to rally cars. He's such a car fanatic and freak, and obviously you've seen his Lamborghinis and his beautiful truck that he has, but he's a four-wheel fan, so yeah. I'd like to see what he can do behind the wheel, something fast and powerful, and that you could actually go and I like to say bang bars, but I guess that's the wrong term. What's the four-wheel equivalent to banging bars?
Banging doors.
All right. Okay. There you go.
Dang indoors. No.
But I don't think he really wants to do that with the Lamborghini.
No.
So let's get him in a Dirtfish car.
Yeah, we'll do that. You and me and him need to get on an email together and just start chatting this up. But mention it to him this weekend. But we'll get him dialed in at Dirtfish, and we'll have a fun time up there.
I will for sure. Okay. Well, you guys have a good week, and I will talk to you on Monday.
All right. Thanks a lot, Amy.
Go. See ya.
Bye. All right, that was Amy Houde, and we got to wrap things up here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Big shout-out to General Tire, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, UPR.com, Blue Resort and Casino, KMC Wheels, Parker Motor Company, Gibson Exhaust, MTX Audio. And don't forget, tune in to Terracross this Saturday and Sunday, re-air Saturday, new show Sunday. And a big shout-out to Petter Solberg on his big victory in Argentina, wrapping up that World Rallycross Championship. Give me a follow at JimBeaver15 on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, at AmyHood71 on the same. And check us out on the web, downanddirtyshow.com or facebook.com/downanddirtyshow. We will see you next week with even more Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. Game on.